Hey, this is Ravi with Akkio. Today we're going to see how we can visualize geographic data using Chat Explorer. And we're going to walk through this using the OList e-commerce dataset that's available on Kaggle.com. For those of you not familiar with OList, it's a Brazilian e-commerce company. And on Kaggle, they were nice enough to upload some historical data, 8 different tables, which I went ahead and merged here in Akkio, as well as I filtered out some information and I created a new column that calculated delivery time. So now that we have a little bit background on this data set, we can start to see what kind of insights we can get out of it with Chat Explorer. One of the things I would suggest is if you're working with a data set you're not familiar with and it has well-labeled columns, you can use Chat Explorer to generate a data dictionary for you. As we see here, using this prompt I loaded in here, Chat Explorer was able to generate a data dictionary. So I have an understanding of what the different columns mean and what kind of questions I can ask based on what I know the different columns represent. And as we scroll here to the bottom, we see that we have some geographic data here in that we have zip code, latitude, longitude, city, state. Those are going to come in handy for creating any geographic visualizations. And if we're not sure what kind of visualizations Chat Explorer can do with geographic data, we can just simply ask it. So beneath this data dictionary, I asked it, what kind of visualizations can you make with geographic data? And we see here that it told me what are different visualizations it can do. So it can make a choropleth, a density heat map, scatter plot, cluster map, mapbox. For any one of these that I'm interested in, I can ask it to tell me more information on what would be needed to make one of these plots. And I did that from Mapbox. So I asked it, what information is needed to generate a map box? And here it gave me the response. So I need to have latitude and longitude data, which this data set does have. So we will see some visualizations I was able to create. So as an example, and I asked Chat Explorer to give me an interesting map box to create from this data set, it gave me some examples of, I can use delivery location, creating a map box showing delivery locations, seller locations, delivery time heat map. These suggestions are all dependent on if my data set has those particular columns. And the one I found most interesting from the suggestions it gave was a delivery time heat map. So let's see what delivery time would look like for out Brazil. So when I scroll down here, I took the prompt from above and I told Chat Explorer to create a mapbox density heat map of average delivery time for the different regions of Brazil. And just from that single prompt, Chat Explorer was able to create this average delivery time heat map where I can see where different areas of Brazil can get their delivery time it takes for them, for a customer to receive a delivery. I can now scroll in different parts of Brazil and see. So like here, hovering over at a high level with these exact coordinates, this particular person took almost 11 days to get their order. Scrolling over here, this person took almost 35 days to get their order. And if I want to see at a more granular level, any visualization generated with Chat Explorer is interactive. So if I zoom in, I can hover over and I can start to see here, delivery time is about 29 days for this person, about 12.79 here, 21 here. If I zoom out, scroll back over, let's go back near the coast. Here we see delivery time, 22 days, 10 days. Already we're starting to see that delivery times, it looks like at least for the cities near the coast, tend to be better. Whereas if you go further inland, it takes a little bit longer. One reason might be that there are more customers along the coast. And maybe we want to think about how we can improve delivery times for those that are further away from a coast or a major city. As we scroll down, another thing we can do is ask Chat Explorer to create a table showing us average delivery time for the top 10 customer cities by order volume. And here we have this table. So we have a sense of what our top 10 cities are by order volume and how long it takes for them to get their deliveries in days. So we see anywhere from a little more than 7.5 days to almost 19 days. And if we scroll down, we can ask it to create a bubble map box of using that information from the table above and putting it on a map box so we can visually see what different geographic areas are getting what kind of delivery times. I restricted it here to the top 10. So as we scroll down, we see here that Rio de Janeiro is about 15 days for delivery time versus Belo Horizonte, which is about 11 days, versus Sao Paulo, which is about 7.7 days, versus Campinas, which is about 9.42. These visualizations are interactive, as I mentioned earlier. This particular one, I can here click on the cities to toggle it, so it will display on the map. So if I toggle these off and say toggle this one on, so here we see this particular city, average delivery time of almost 19 days. Here at the more like southern Brazil, about 7.8 versus 19. So there's some sort of discrepancy between northern and southern Brazil that we were able to see visually immediately. And if we want to get even more granular, we can tell Chat Explorer to create a Mapbox density of delivery time for Sao Paulo, which we did here. And I can zoom in to see like what areas of Sao Paulo have what kind of delivery times. If I had specific neighborhoods, I could look at it more at a neighborhood level, but here I'm just looking at a city level. And one of the last things I want to show you can do is we can also do it for payment type. So if we want to see what parts of Brazil are using what kind of payment methods, we did that here. So here I have credit card. I'm not sure what boleto is. I'm not too familiar with Portuguese, but we see here, we can see the relationship between credit card and voucher. And we see here in like southern Brazil, there's a lot more voucher usage than like northern Brazil. Something interesting to think about. Just like that, with a bunch of prompts, no coding, we were able to create these visualizations and get a better understanding of our customers.